Welcome back. In this posting, we'll go through a setup review with FMC, FXOS, and APIC. Let me show you first FMC that has our cluster registered of 6 units here. One of them is a master, and we have a pretty simple control policy that spells out that we can pretty much communicate in and out of this same one interface that's used as one-arm PBR, as you can see here. If we take a look at the FXOS outputs here, this is a chassis G that I called in previous videos, and we simply have 3 SM24 blades. So as we take a look at the interfaces here, we have 2 port channels, data with 4 ports grouped, and also CCL, which is a default cluster port channels there. Ethernet 1.1 is used for management connectivity. If we take a look at the chassis 2, which is H, it also has 3 SM24 blades, and pretty much interfaces are set up in the same fashion as I showed you in the previous one. So they kind of mimic that configuration. Looking at logical devices here, we do have a screenshot I showed you in an earlier video that just lays out our 3 blades. In this chassis, they are 3 slaves to the cluster. And in G chassis, we have the first one designated as a master. So you can see that right here. Just to expand out the rest here, they are 2 slaves in the first 9300 chassis. Looking at APIC, we have a tenant here that has our EPGs inside and outside, have a contract that we designated earlier. And looking at those EPGs here, our CCL EPG shows 6 units here that are communicating. Since there is no routing enabled, we're not learning the IPs. However, in inside one, we have our 2 learned hosts out of 2 different pods, helping us basically have connections open within each pod, and the same goes for this outside EPG, pod 2 and pod 3 hosts there. Looking at our contract, it's a pretty standard contract in and out with a subject that passes all traffic to the firewall. Here's our service graph here. It is PBR with a route redirect. We can just review some more information here about unicast routing turned on for those terminals. For PBR service graph configuration here, we do have policies and protocol, and here is our layer 4 through 7 policy-based redirect. So in here, we have our IP and MAC of our firewall. And also, this is where you actually have the Anycast endpoint designation to tell the fabric to track this information as a firewall IP and MAC across all pods. Now, if we take a look at the layer 4 through 7 services devices, we have single device that basically names 2 different devices as our firewalls in each pod and lays out the VPCs that they're connected to their respective pods. There is no function profile because this is an unmanaged device, so we simply have that PBR service graph in place that we looked at earlier. If I look at maybe that function node, it simply gives you a little more information. So that shows you the layout of all the GUIs. Thanks again.